Wow, good morning once again. Tuesday morning, I had to remind you because remember Tuesday morning, this is when we meet and talk about leadership. Last week we were here, we had an amazing time. I know by the grace of God, we are also going to have a very wonderful time today. Remember it's 1 hour, and 1 hour looks so short. You better be there now. But before you even go very far, remember what I say. Talk to someone, tell somebody, hey, Elevate TV, we are in the YouTube, we are in Facebook, we are also in the TV. Please share with someone, call someone, tell them they are back again, talking about leadership. After this, of course, as I've always said, we continue interacting. Remember, I also have a very powerful thing. We talk about the story with Apostle Patrick. That is in Apostle Patrick, Muriithi in the YouTube. We'll be talking about that later. But today, we are continuing with what we talked about last time, leading during difficult times. Many people say leadership is not for cowards. I know you know that. We also say that leadership is not just selling ice cream. Somebody said if you want to do something that you will not offend anyone, please sell ice creams. Leadership is more than that. You lead people who will love you. You lead people who will respect you. But I tell you the truth, you can also lead people who don't believe in you. When Moses, died, God spoke to Joshua, and he said, my servant Moses is dead. And then he said, lead these people. What is amazing is that God said to Joshua, as I was with Moses, I will also be with you. I was just thinking about that scripture, and I was thinking, the Bible says that God killed Moses and buried him, of course, because he disobeyed him. So God is telling Joshua, as I did to Moses, if you go his way, I also do it to you. Think about that. These people that he is being called to lead are people that are used to power, used to supernatural, and even with all that, they rebelled against Joshua. That tells you that no matter what happens, you find yourself as a leader in a difficult moment, either because of people or resources or things just happen. Today, we continue talking about leading during difficult times. My guest was here last week, and he is here again because people said he did not finish everything. Will help me to welcome my guest, Pastor ERICK Koitani. Thank you, sir. Karibu sana.
Thank you for having me again.
Please look at that camera and welcome people.
Welcome viewers. Today, be ready for exciting moments. We are going to go deep into leadership, the different aspects of leadership, and how we can prepare ourselves and the organizations that we lead to be able to navigate the challenges of leadership in a not very exciting operating environment. So be ready to be inspired in this show.
Thank you so much, man of God. Last time we touched some live wires. Yeah. Difficult times are there in leadership.
Right.
And I'm sure somebody is saying, what's difficult is difficult. Please share with us what are these difficult moments, that the leaders go through.
There are many difficult moments that leaders and organizations can find themselves into because we don't lead in a vacuum. There are operating environments, there are challenges to do with the organization, to do with the people that follow leaders. There could be financial challenges, there could be regulatory challenges. For example, the government comes up with new laws that can stifle the organization from moving forward. There could be issues to do with the trusted members of the organization suddenly leaving the organization, meaning that the organization has to find replacements. So there are many challenges an organization or a leader can find himself in. For example, a leader can lose his followers when the followers now realize that is no longer pursuing the vision for which they are following him. So these are challenges that leaders must face.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very powerful.
Yeah.
And those are not just imaginary things. Things do happen.
They are not, they happen. And leaders must always prepare themselves for adaptive challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even before we go into the depth of this discussion, I think it's important to refresh the minds of the viewers of what leadership is.
Oh yeah, please.
And how leadership differs from management. Because as we continue, the distinction is going to be very clear.
Yeah.
And why we need to make a difference between the two. Last week I said that leadership is influencing people to accomplish a purpose. Today I want to take about a minute just to help us understand what that is all about.
Please take that minute.
Yeah, so leadership is mainly about people. You can't lead where there are no people. So you lead where there are people.
Wow.
So leadership is about effectiveness. Management is about efficiency. What does that mean? Management is about doing things right. Leadership is about doing the right thing.
Wow.
That is a major difference. An example, for example, you're running a bakery and you've been making and selling loaves of bread. So the management will be concerned, how many pieces of bread do we make? What color? What are the ingredients? And where do we sell them? But a leader will come and say, we are not supposed to do breads, we are supposed to do cakes. So you do the right thing. So that is a major difference between leadership and management. Additionally, management copes with complexities of organizations to do things to do with the processes and systems, while leadership copes with change. So leaders handle change a lot.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
So it's important for us to know that distinction, because the functions, let me just say this briefly, that management is about 6 functions. The function of planning, the function of organizing, directing, staffing, coordinating, and budgeting. While leadership deals with totally different things. Things to do with casting vision, things to do with motivation, things to do with establishing institutional value system, things to do with building collaborative atmosphere within the organization in order to enable the organization and the people to achieve the vision of the organization.
You know, Pastor Eric,
Yeah.
I love the way you are saying things without, mincing ones. But you are talking to people who are really eager to hear. And some of them don't have papers to write.
Right.
But you have said the very powerful things.
Yeah.
Can you slowly say leadership is not about doing things right?
Leadership is doing the right thing.
Is doing the right thing.
Management is doing things right.
Oh, man. And I love the way you have put it.
Yeah.
And I also want to let you know that Daniel Munga is there.
Yeah.
And Munga says, the student, we have Grace Wanyaga. I'm just reading a few to tell you that some people there are waiting to hear to get it right, to do the right thing, not just to
do things right.
To do things right.
Right.
And then we have Grace Muriithi says, leaders must prepare themselves for adaptive purposes. I know that's where we are going. Esther Mandrin is following. Thank you so much, Esther. We will be coming back, of course, to the Facebook, that is YouTube. And so you touch very powerful things, and I believe, when leaders start leading, sometimes they don't see that.
Right.
Many people, and you said it's about people.
Yes.
So people see, a leader sees people, and they forget that you need to do a lot on these people.
Right.
The people believe, it's John Maxwell who says that if you are leading and nobody is behind you, you are taking a walk. But there is more than having a following. There's more than that.
Yes.
And that's what I want us to talk about.
Right.
Now, tell us, now you are a leader or you have this organization, and it's good to prepare to know hard times are coming. And of course, we will talk about how to prepare, but we also talk about what you do when you find yourself in these hard times. There is a saying in one of our tribes that says that if you go to, the traditional beehives, the long beehives, where you put them in the tree, or on the tree, they will say when you are putting it up there, the first thing you need to do is to tie yourself. Because if you don't, and you come down, the beehive will be behind you.
Right.
So part of preparing is tying yourself to know hard times can come.
Right.
So how do you prepare for hard time or difficult times?
It is a function of leadership to prepare organizations and the people that follow them to prepare for the hard times, to prepare for times of uncertainty and chaos. Leaders must always have a balcony view of the organizations that they lead. They should see things that others do not see. So leaders usually, they don't just work within the system, they work on the system. They look at the organization from a bird's eye view.
Wow.
So that they're able to scan the horizon and know what challenges lie ahead. So it takes great skills of leadership. I'm going to touch on about 5 or 6 points on how leaders can prepare. So leaders, extraordinary leaders emerge out of challenges because as the weather shapes the mountains, so leaders are shaped by problems.
Wow.
Leaders become stronger.
Wow. No, man of God. I told you, this show, you don't talk and they leave people, wondering what you have said,
Right.
Some of those points you are mentioning are the points I tell people, look at the camera and they repeat that again. Please look at that camera, tell somebody that one, repeat the sentence.
Leaders are made for hard times, and I said that as the weather shapes the mountain, so a leader shaped by problems. So leaders, actually, their best qualities and abilities emerge out of the difficult moments.
So those people who are in trouble and run away from trouble,
they are not meant for leadership.
They have no leadership shape.
No, they...
Wow. I now can tell you, we'll be checking on people to know what kind of a leader are you. If you have not been shaped by trouble, then I think we need to take you back to the factory. That is what I hear.
Right. Yeah, so I think where we need to start on how to prepare for adaptive challenges is on the issue of design. Leaders are designers of organizations.
Okay.
Let me say that it is fruitless to lead an organization that is poorly designed. Imagine somebody has designed a ship which is taken to the seas without understanding the challenges of the sea.
Wow.
So it becomes very difficult, regardless of your qualities as a leader. If that organization is poorly designed, then you will struggle during challenging times. So we must be able to anticipate challenges and design organizations and prepare our people to navigate the rough waters of leadership. The first task of designing is actually building the governing ideas of vision, institutional value system, and things like structures for the organization. You also need to put in place strategies and policies. So when you prime your organization or prime the people in a way that they are able to surmount challenges, when the challenges come, then they are ready to deal with them. It will be very difficult, man of God, to wait for problems that you've not prepared for and then to start pressing on the panic buttons when the problems arise.
Where I have told my viewers all the time, if I have a guest and you realize I'm not interjecting most of the time, it's just because whatever he is saying, it's just getting into my nerves. You know what? This man is meant to ask that question you would want to ask me after this. I will not be answering a question. Ask that question, write to us, comment down there. Let me hear, let me read your comment. And if any question, he is the one to answer. Man of God, what you are saying, I will say like John the Baptist. I'm not worthy. Untying the shoelaces of your leadership talk today.
We thank God.
Oh yeah. Okomo, tuned in. Thank you. Christine, thank you for following. Levi, glad to have my great teacher, Pastor Koitani, on set. Thank you, Levi. Nahashon Pastor says, working in the organization versus working on the organization. Very profound. Grace says, wow, as the weather shapes the mountains, so a leader is shaped by problems. Great. Leaders and designers of organization. Thank you so much. Keep on writing, keep on talking to us, keep on sharing, keep on asking that question because he is the one to answer.
Before I go to the second point, I think it's important to mention that leaders do not necessarily concentrate on solving problems because solving problems does not produce results. Leaders are focused on opportunities and exploiting those opportunities. So when they prepare the organizations, they want anything to do with problems to be covered by what they have planned for. So whenever there are problems, leaders delegate solving of problems, but they focus on the future, on how to exploit opportunities, because there is where results are generated.
That is my first question.
Yeah.
I mean, if nobody is asking that, I have to ask.
Right.
You said leaders don't concentrate on solving problems.
No.
Because solving problems don't give any result.
They don't produce results. For example, if an organization was making profits of hundreds of millions of dollars, and suddenly, because of the challenges because of the terrain, the organization has gone into loss making. Solving the problems that cause the organization to make losses will only bring the organization back to equilibrium where it was before. So it doesn't push the organization to the next level. So even if you push the organization from 100 million loss to 10 million profit, you haven't done much because you have not reached where you were before.
Wow.
So most of solution of problems is a management paradigm and not leadership paradigm.
Pastor Nation is holding his mouth. You're saying solving problem does not produce results. And he speaks, right there in Hebrew says, Gaiwa. You know what that means? My God.
My God.
You can't believe it. That there are so many people who are just solving problems.
Yeah.
They are problem solvers. And then it means they are not seeing results. I have a take home. Delegate problems.
Delegate problems. And actually, even when you're doing staffing, your best employees should be placed in places of opportunity, not problem solving. Because solving problem just prevents damage, and that's all it does. It does generate results that push the organization to the next level.
So a leader must focus on
opportunities.
Opportunities.
Yes.
Even when things have gone wrong down there,
yes.
Delegate that.
Delegate.
Look forward to what other opportunity do we have. That is powerful.
Because you can concentrate on problems and not be able to scan the horizon, what is ahead. So when you focus on problems, which means you're putting your eyes within the organization, but leadership must focus on the external environment.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
That's very powerful, man of
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
I told people, I knew today things will not be as usual. Kuna maandamano. Hapa. I tell you the truth. Now, let's go on now.
Yeah. So after designing the organization, for example, if you're designing an aeroplane, you must know the operating environment of the aeroplane.
Yes.
The storms, the birds that fly in the air, the runway, and stuff like that. You have already designed, and you have your vision, you have your value system, you have the strategies and the processes in place. The second thing that a leader should be able to implement is to build a learning organization. Very important. They should be able to create a learning environment for the organization, because in the long run, superior performance depends on superior learning. You must anticipate problems and begin to help people learn ways of coping with adaptive challenges, because leadership is about coping with adaptive challenges. So one way that leaders can help the organization and his followers learn is, one, to help them restructure their view of reality. One of the functions of leadership is to define reality. Where are we?
Wow.
And what is happening around us? And what is our environment? That is viewing the reality. But you see, contemporary society mostly focus on events. And I'm going to give an example to break it down for easy understanding. Contemporary society, even the media, they focus so much on events. Let's say, for example, Kenya Airways. The media will report that Kenya Airways has made a loss. That is an event.
Yeah.
The event may not give us the whole story. So leaders in creating an environment for learning, and learning increases adaptability of the organization and the people. So in helping them restructure their view, they will be able to help people understand about 3 distinct ways of defining reality. One, they look at events, which may not give us the whole picture. Why is Kenya Airways making losses? If you look at the event, you become reactive. Let me bring it closer home.
Please do, please do.
A church, let's say, for example, you're a pastor.
Yeah.
And suddenly you've realized that your open door, you are attracting so many people to church. But then you are not retaining them. That is a problem.
It's a problem.
So if you look at the people who are living as an event on a standalone basis, you will be reactive. You may try to solve that problem by picking your phone and calling them individually, asking them to return.
Please come back. You came one Sunday, you have never come back.
You came, maybe you were there for 2 months. And
tell us what was wrong with us.
Yes, what was wrong with us. That may not solve the problem.
Wow.
The second level of viewing reality is by looking at trends. Trends. The last 2 years, the last 3 years, is there any patterns of behavior? So, for example, in finance and accounting, you do trend analysis to be able to understand where the problems are coming from. So, through learning, you are able to restructure your view. Because you see, many people think that when you look at something, you see the things the way they are. We are not objective. We always see things the way we are, not the way things are. Which means who you are determines what you see.
Wow. Wow.
We don't see the things the way things are.
Man of God.
Yeah.
Wow. When you talk those things now, when you bring them out like that,
Yeah.
you make me feel like at the end of this, there should be an offering in this service. I mean, do you remember when Peter preached?
Yeah.
And he was done. Then the people ask him, so what must we do? I think that's the question I should be asking after this.
We should
so
raise an
what
offering.
must I do? You know, whether an offering or whether I give my life to leadership.
Yeah.
Let me read a few comments. I don't know why Grace is laughing at us. I don't know what we have done. Daniel too is laughing at us. I don't know what we have done. Please let us know. Why are you laughing at us? But Shelmith Wanyaga says, very hot point here. I'm learning. Shelmith, you should be writing down there to tell us which point is that. Don't just tell us point there. Tell us which one. Write down there. Tell us this point is powerful. Thank you, Shelmith. Grace Wanyaga says, wow, very informative. Nation is back at you again. He says, superior learning equal to superior performance.
Yes.
He is just doing like formulas. He is an accountant as well. So he is writing in short form, equal to all this. Grace Muriithi, building learning environment for the organization. Superior learning, show me that talks about that. Grace Wanyaga says, we see things the way we are not, the way are not the way they are. Awesome. Then Grace says, trend analysis, loving this. Esther Madrin says, interacting on influencing people, mentioning. And then Grace says, you are, you determine what you see. I think that's what she is saying. Thank you. Levi is back. He says, we don't view things the way they are. We see things the way they are.
We are.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Please go on. Let me also get a few comments from Facebook so that the Facebookers will not throw stones at me and they say I'm not, looking their way. I'll check if there'll be one. I'll be happy to, read some. But let's be continuing. I'll come and, even if I don't mention what we are saying on Facebook, remember, I'll just be going for a very short break. And after that, I will start with you. That is to say, don't go away. Keep on writing. Keep on, talking to us. And remember, we are here for our hour. And we shall be talking more on this. Yes, go on, sir.
Yeah, so we are discussing the importance of developing learning organizations. and we have started on the point of helping people restructure their view of reality. We've already done 2 points. The third point is that apart from viewing reality as an event, apart from looking at patterns of behavior, the last level of viewing reality is through systemic structure, which means you look at the underlying causes of the behavior. So you've gone from event, then you've looked at the trend. Now you are looking what is causing this trend. It can help you be able to analyze problems.
Wow, the systems.
Yes, the system.
So
a leader must be a system thinker.
You know what we're going to do? We oppose on that so that we don't lose the viewers when we go for this short break.
Right.
So what I want us to do is take a very short break. As we take the short break, we leave you there commenting, writing, sharing. And when I come back, I'll begin there. We'll be back in a moment.
Nico Works Now Trust is a program that comes to you on Elevate TV every Friday at 7:30 p.m. In this program, we dwell into the journey of small and micro enterprises in the country.
Tulikuwa tunafulia watu manguo, wengine walikuwa wameandikwa house girls, lakini saa hii tumetoka hapo.
You can get the story from domestic workers to people handling 150,000 shillings per month. They're just 13 people. We look at the challenges that they're facing.
The city council will harass you for anything, whether you have documents or not. Roads, traffic, such things really affect us.
And we tap into the opportunities available in the sector.
Hiyo unit tulikuwa tunaambiwa tusikue employees, tujaribu tukue ma employers. So nikaamua naweza anzisha kakao kadogo mashinani.
So nikaona badala niuze gas pekee, nikaanza na vitabu kidogo, books za kuandika na stationery. Nikasoga hivyo, after some time nikaona I still can sell the textbooks.
Join me, Colin Sotas, every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Elevate TV, and let us journey together in this show.
Why men should run to become real in their lives.
Our definition, or rather our design about who a man is worldly. It doesn't stick to what God is saying.
So definition from the kingdom perspective of a real man is one who can hear and do God's will.
Do's that you have to, and the regular don'ts that you have to avoid.
Laziness is not part of godliness.
Yes.
If you are truly godly, you will be very industrious.
Yes.
A real man resolves, makes decisions. A real man executes. They make sure they are applying. A real man is authentic, they are genuine, and a real man leads. If you're not that man, start becoming that man.
Yeah, welcome back once again. Remember, I said we are going for a very short break. We are back, just 2 minutes, just to allow my guest to sip some water. And, he is breathing fire on this, program, talking about leadership, things that are very, very powerful. I just promised that when I come back, I'll talk about, I'll read a few comments. David Okongo, I can see you, says this is powerful, profound. And he says, I am following from Kisumu. Thank you so much. George Wafula says, glad to tune in again. Already picked up wise nuggets. A leader should be a system thinker. A leader should monitor and analyze trends in the system. That is what he said. Can a leader influence the system? Can a leader influence the system? Somebody is asking that question. I think once you are done, talking about the system, then you can talk about that. And remember, we are happy that you people are writing back to us and they're talking to us. That is our joy, to know that you are getting help. So remember my guest again, Pastor ERICK. He is a man on the show, the man that you can't listen to 1 hour, 2 hours. You need to listen to him many days. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Continue, please.
Thank you. So, the third aspect of preparing for chaos, uncertainty, and adaptive challenges is to know how to handle change.
Did you left thinking systematically, system?
Yes.
That is where I wanted you to finish, because I can see there are people here who, carrying stones. George Wafula is carrying stones. And then Daniel Munga has a stone. You want to hear about system before we move on, please.
System thinking is one, the leader should not be so much engrossed in working within the system in a way that is not able to manipulate the parameters of that system. Remember, we said that a leader should have a balcony view of the organization.
Yes.
So he should see the organization from a view that the organization does not influence him, but is influencing the organization. So he should not focus so much on working within the system, but on working on the system.
Okay.
Because he's the one on the driving seat, is the one that is touching the levers of leadership, is the one who is scanning the horizon to remove boulders, to remove potholes, to remove hurdles on the way. He cannot be so much engrossed in working with the system, because the risk is that the system can work on him.
Wow.
And he can be changed by that system.
Yeah.
But he should not. He's the leader.
He should be the one changing systems.
Right. Yeah, so he should be a system thinker, not just be involved in the day-to-day business, but to look at the bigger picture. That is why he looks at trends, he looks at the causes of those patterns, and he prepares the organization to ride on the rough terrains that are ahead. Yeah.
Wow.
So that is a very important requirement for leadership. Managers usually are involved with the management of the system, processes, the systems, the procedures, and their heads are buried in that. They may not be able to see where the organization is going.
You know, when you are talking, Pastor ERICK, I'm just thinking that you are bringing another dimension that we need to think of, to have a show where we talk about leadership versus management. In as much as this is a leadership show, there are people who feel like, wow, I think I'm a leader. Yeah, they are managers.
That is true.
And the leader get frustrated because they want to manage what is there, and the leader is thinking about what is not there. So they are more concerned on what is already on the table.
Right.
When the leader is thinking about
what is ahead.
You know, Jesus said, there are those who are for us who are not with us. You know, in other ones, there are those people. I'm seeing some people outside the kingdom
who should be
here.
Right.
That is leadership.
That is leadership.
And I think we should talk about that.
That is leadership.
We should get some time and talk about this.
Yeah.
Please go on.
So the third important thing that leaders should do is to be able to know how to handle change and prepare the organization for handling change. Wow. Because the only thing that does not change is change itself. Everything else changes apart from change.
Wow.
So they must prepare people to handle change. The key question for handling change, is it a management paradigm or is it a leadership paradigm? That is where most people go wrong. Because you hear people talk about change management.
Yeah, change management.
So how you see the problem or how you define the problem will determine the approaches you take in handling that problem or even preparing for that problem. So when you see the adaptive challenge as a management issue, you will employ management practices in order to handle that matter. And research shows that successful transformation is about 70 to 90% leadership and only about 10 to 30% management.
Okay.
Because management is more inward looking, leadership is outward looking, and adaptive challenges are external most of the time. So if you have a management paradigm, you may not be able to prepare your organization to deal with certain issues.
is that I think that's something that people need to think about. See how I can allow this person to play his part, delegating your weakness.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because if you can't do it, then it can be a weakness.
Another challenge for leaders is that there are leaders who are not very strong in empowering their people, so they want to handle everything. So it's a challenge for those who are following them, who are aspiring to enter into shoes of leadership. So the point that you're raising is important, is a reason for conflict in organizations. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dan Okomo, thank you. I can see you. He says, I'm moving from being a manager to being a leader. Ameamua. And I think, let me finish, then I say what I wanted to say. I don't want to be influenced by the system. Vision, orientation. Thank you, Pastor Koitani. Now, I'm just thinking of the way you are saying, I'm moving, you know? Is there a process or just crossover, like from opposition to
the government?
Yeah, you know, the way you have put it is so nice. I'm crossing over. But I know what you're saying is I'm being influenced
by the system
through the insights that are coming. Yeah, go on, sir.
Yeah, so the leader must be able to prepare the organization to know that adaptive challenges require more leadership than management, because leadership also involves inspiring certain actions that alter behavior of people, because at the end of it, it is the people that are required to cope with the challenges in the organization. Remember, we started by saying that leadership is about people.
Yeah.
And important to mention here, leadership is more about the heart than the mind. So the functions of leadership are functions that are geared to motivating, touching the heart. Management is more about the brain, about the mind. So leadership and management function from two different sides of the brain, one on the left side, another on the right side.
So leadership is about
the heart.
The heart.
Management is about the mind.
All right.
Yes.
They say the heart.
Yes.
Do you mean?
For example, you want to inspire people. That is not a mental thing. That is a heart thing.
Okay.
You've heard John Maxwell say that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
That's an issue of the heart. Trust is an issue of the heart. Those are fundamental things of leadership.
Wow.
So leadership is more about the heart than the mind.
Wow.
And they say that if you want to lead yourself, use your head. If you want to lead people, use your heart.
I don't know whether there's somebody watching there and they're saying, I think I can help you, Apostle. I'm looking for somebody to come replace me here so that I can sit on the other side. I also want to jump like Okomo and be on the other side and listen.
And listen.
Wow. If you want to lead people,
use your heart.
Use your heart.
Yes. Most people go wrong because they use their head.
Wow.
They want to make it logical. Before you move people into action, you must touch their emotions.
Wow.
Not their brains.
Yes.
Yeah, and before people can follow you, they must feel that you care for them. And see, the problem, the mistake many people make is that they think they influence people by looking important or by feeling important about themselves. Influence actually comes when you make people feel important.
Wow.
That is how you influence people. But when you're the big man, you are the big man, you are the one who is taking all the accolades and praising yourself, you will not influence anybody.
Now, man of God, you know what you have done right there?
Yeah.
Umeharibu. Umeharibu. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Wow. Leadership is more of a heart, while management is about the mind. Joshua Moses says that.
Yeah.
And George Wafula, I told you he has stones. He picked stones. He was waiting, but he is dropping. He says, I like the phrase that a leader should have a back-on view of a system. It empowers a leader with capacity to adjust the system, not just to adapt in the system.
Yes.
Grace Muriithi says, if you want to lead yourself, use your hand. You'll be alone. And it says, if you want to lead people, use your hands.
Use your heart.
She has lifted her hands. I think she wants to get saved. Esther Medrin says, why is a leader able to influence people? What fail, but fail to maintain them? I don't know whether you can get that question. Why is a leader able to influence people but fail to maintain them?
If you influence people, they'll follow you.
Yeah, you influence them,
Yes.
they follow you, but he's saying, are you able to have them for a short time? The influence was for a short time. You can't maintain it. That is what she is asking. Do you want to respond to that?
Let me respond to that. Influence is not short term.
Yeah.
When you influence people and you continue influencing them, they'll continually follow you. Remember the statement that you made, that if you think you're leading and no one is following you, you're simply taking a walk.
Yeah.
So influence, when you influence somebody, they have bought into you. So there's the buy-in value that they have found in you, so they'll continually follow you.
Yeah, but Esther is saying, they follow you for some time, but you can't maintain.
Then you didn't influence them. They were coming to check around if they can follow you. You actually didn't influence them.
Yeah.
Maybe,
or you acted.
Or you acted, but
you know.
they have seen your character. They have seen that they have seen your value system, that it doesn't. There's no congruence with their own value system.
Do you know? Yeah. One time I bought a book. Somebody was selling books, and just reading a few pages, I thought, have I ever read this book? Guess what? This man picked someone's book, plucked out the cover, did his own cover, and they fixed it.
He plagiarized.
I mean, I think that was more than plagiarism, because you are not even stealing to and to
It's word for word.
It's word for word. It's actually, I think it has a deeper one than plagiarism. However, it's conmanship with, it's actually stealing. It's like robbery, you know? And you can imagine that person was so passionate talking about the book until when you read through your this man is a con. You can be sure he lost me immediately. He was almost influencing me until when I realized it's a
He doesn't have character.
Yeah, so that is very powerful, that you can't influence them if you are just conning them.
Yes.
And then John Juafura says, the aspect of heart and mind. To lead people, use your heart, not your mind. A wise ingredient in influence. Well put. Apostle Roy, thank you. He says, profound. And Dan Okomo, I know a manager can be frustrated. Can a real reader be frustrated? Okomo has picked his own stones. He is not dropping one. Let's hear that.
Like I said before, that leaders are shaped by problems. So a leader who is worth his salt will take challenges head on. Frustrations are part of life, and what is important is to know how to manage it now.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, and the leader, Wanjiko, says, influence comes when you make people feel important.
That is true.
You know, nobody wants to follow you when they feel bashed.
People want to go along with people they get along with.
Wow.
Yeah.
Say it again.
People want to go along with people they get along with.
People want to go along
with people they get along with.
They get along with.
Yeah.
Let's move on, man.
Yeah. So leaders need to shift their paradigm from positional leadership to collaborative and collective leadership. You see the kind of multifaceted challenges that organizations face, especially in a time like ours. You can't expect one talented or brilliant mind to solve all those problems. So leaders must create a collaborative environment where there is co-ownership of problems, joint participation, and sharing of ideas in an environment of trust. Leaders should be able to build trust within the organizations in 3 levels. One, people need to trust the leader.
Wow.
Secondly, people need to trust the organization. Thirdly, people need to trust themselves in the organization. So whenever there are challenges, if there is no trust between the leadership and the followers, or among the followers, how will they be able to tackle the challenges that come? So it is a function of leadership to create a collaborative and a collective leadership environment that is built on trust, mutual values, and reciprocity, so that whenever challenges arise, you can set up teams to be able to handle these problems without relying on the genius of one person. Another important thing in creating a collaborative environment, leaders must build skills that enable them to set up high-performance teams whose collective performance is greater than the sum total of the individual performance of the individual talented people, which means they should be able to build synergy. Problems that organizations face in today's world are problems that need interaction, collaboration, and different perspectives. One perspective may not be able to solve them. So leaders, because they scan the horizon and anticipate problems, they build a culture of community within the organization, a culture of building rapport, finding common ground, so that they are able to have cross-pollination of ideas to be able to surmount problems that arise in the organization. Very important.
Wow.
Very, very important, you know, in leadership.
You know, man of God.
Yeah.
So that I also have time to digest.
Right.
Okomo is saying, I repent. Okomo has lifted his hands repenting, and I think we need to pronounce that he is forgiven.
He is forgiven.
Yeah,
Okomo. Your sins are forgiven.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then Grace Muriithi says, people want to go along, they get along with.
Yeah.
Very profound. Rosary Nyaga says, great show, great learning this morning. And then Grace says, set up teams without relying on one genius. You know, I give a story.
Right.
When we were in high school, we had a team, we had a goalkeeper, and we had one. Man, that guy gave us a very hard time. When we are going for competition, he would say that he doesn't feel like playing. So you can imagine everybody talking to him, you know, beseeching him, please, please. Until one day, one person showed up and decided,
I can do it.
I can do it. Let me tell you, we did a lot of defense. We defended almost half of the first round because we knew.
Because of fear.
We don't have. Then by mistake, there was a penalty on our side. You can imagine. Our fingers were closed. Guess what? Our opponent took the penalty. Our goalkeeper, the one we were defending so much, he caught it.
Wow, wow.
We were so happy. From that time, we decided to play, and we won. We never needed the genius.
The goalkeeper was replaced.
He was replaced, and I learned that it is very dangerous
to rely on one person.
One person that you rely on, and that is very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And then the issue of cross-pollination of ideas, our Grace is laughing that. Very powerful. But because sometimes we talk and forget, please, let's have just a short break, you know, within us and between us, and I see a book there, you know, just talk about that book 1 minute.
I have break free from habits of sin. Sin is a major problem within the church, in the lives of believers, starting from the top to the bottom of our churches. It's because people do not know how to deal with sin. The Bible does not say that when you are born again, you will not sin. In fact, the Bible says that Jesus is our advocate. When we sin, he will represent us in the courtrooms of God. But how are we able to break from patterns of sin? We must be able to understand the benefits of redemption. What did Jesus do on the cross that we can appropriate from to be able to live a life that is free from sin? That is all in this book.
Wow.
Yeah.
This man, I told you last week, he has written 13 books counting.
Right.
13. Wow. You know, Dharakanithi is counting number 13. 13 like Dharakanithi. 13 like the stronghold. And this is very powerful. And the other book?
This one is Power for Prayer. How can we be able to appropriate the finished work of the cross in helping us access the powers that help us to pray and to be able to appropriate the specific offerings of the cross of Jesus Christ. For example, it explains to you the importance of the ministry that Jesus has at the right hand of the Father currently. What is he doing in the sanctuary in heaven? on our behalf. So when you understand all these things, it helps you gain power to pray and to deal with certain issues and to be able to appropriate what belongs to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You know, last time I realized I rushed you. You never talked about these books.
Right.
And I'll be asking you to tell us where to get them after this.
Right.
But I feel now, like Okomo, my sins are forgiven. Because last time, Lire, I rushed you. We were not able to get to know that. But thank you for the great work you have done. Your books are amazing.
We thank God.
I've read a couple of them, and amazing books.
Thank you.
Keep on writing.
Amen.
Oh, you are blessed.
Amen.
That is, I think somebody delegated this weakness to you. He could not write it, he signed, and you can write for him. Yeah, please, let's say something before my director says stop.
All right, maybe my last point in preparing organizations to deal with adaptive challenges is one function of leadership is to continually churn out leaders for the future. And it's important for any leader who is worth his salt to nurture and mold leadership. The first level that the leader should be able to raise leaders and build leaders is around himself. One man, Niccolo Machiavelli, made a statement saying the first method of estimating the intelligence of a leader is to look at those who are around him. So the inner core of the leader will determine the success of that leader. So the leader should be able to raise leaders who support him on the first level, and he should be able to continually build leadership in all cadres of the organization, because everything rises and falls
on leadership.
So it's important for a leader to know how to multiply himself within the organization. How do you build the inner circle? You must be able to find people that you are able to work with, people who have potential, people who are continuously learning and building themselves. So when you have those people around you, for example, if you are a pastor, you need strong leadership around you.
Yeah.
You don't just need followers.
Yeah.
Remember, to add growth, you need to lead followers. To multiply growth, you need to lead leaders. To multiply growth exponentially, you need to lead leaders of leaders. So these are things that you work on and prepare in advance.
Why are you doing that now? I'm asking, like in the Cana of Galilee, why did you preserve the good wine
for the last?
For the last, you know. Man, that is so powerful. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm told we don't have time to continue, but we can say something before we go.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to say is even to ask, on behalf of the many people who are listening, do you give certificates for people who have listened like this? Because this is our whole course, you know.
This is our whole course.
It's our
leadership 101.
And I mean, that is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, we cannot have enough of you. Of course, as we say in Kenya, I will have to talk to you behind the tent and see what we can make up from that tent.
Yeah.
You have done an amazing work. Tell us about yourself. In just less than a minute, tell us about yourself, what you do, and how someone may want to get you, where they can get you, the books, where we can buy your books. Please tell us.
I'm a pastor. I pastor a church called Glory Hill Church in Tena Estate, Nairobi, where we build people, transform lives. In addition to that, I'm a leadership consultant. I'm also a financial consultant. I'm also an author of books, as you have seen. So that is part of the things that I do. You can reach me through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through Twitter. On Twitter, my handle is kingdom_enforcer. And you can also reach me on phone 0721 475 497. My books are available online. You can get them from amazon.com, bookshop.com, dmox.co.uk, walmart.com, and several other sites. If you need a hard copy, like a printed copy like this one, you can reach me on WhatsApp on that number. Then we'll find a way of delivering it to your location.
Wow, thank you so much, Pastor Eric. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I want to say to my viewers, thank you so much for giving us your time. I am sure and I believe, looking at the comment and what all of you have said, you have been inspired. I am your host, Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga. Somebody was asking me, are you on in Elevate TV? No, I'm in many places. I pastor in with Gospel Celebration Church, Kayole. Somebody saying, oh, something good can come out of Kayole. Yes, come to Kayole 1 Gospel Celebration Church. You'll find me there. You can also write to me, through Facebook, Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga, and also YouTube. We can continue interacting in Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga. Remember, there is something there called A Story with Apostle Patrick. So what you do is go to YouTube, write Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga, subscribe, and we'll continue talking. We shall be again on Tuesday talking on leaders matters. And I want to say that keep on telling someone every Tuesday, Elevate TV, something is happening. See you. And oh, by the way, on 1st of May, let me welcome you to our leadership summit. Please, if you are a leader, I want you to know that you are most welcome. 1st of May, we'll be in Gospel Celebration Church, Kayole. All of you can come, find yourself there. It will be a blessing. God bless you. See you.